Right off the bat, in case you guys have been wondering, and I did drop this and mention this a couple of times, is that I have not really been all that impressed with Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2 so far during the Disney Plus premiere just on, of course, August 22nd. I really wasn't impressed. I know a lot of others out there felt the same, and look, we all have differing opinions, and I think that we should all respect each other's opinions, and that's all welcome, by the way, below in the comments. Now, later on in this video, I'm going to be going over all of the pointers that I really disliked about the Ahsoka series, and mainly why I really did not enjoy it fully from start to finish, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but focusing on Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni specifically. Now, we know that Jon Favreau did not have a hand in writing this show, so just be aware about that. This is all 110% a Dave Filoni series, where Kathleen Kennedy did not have creative power per se, but Filoni did allow many of Kathleen Kennedy's ideas to spill into this story, so let's discuss. Now, Kathleen Kennedy has been talking about the show on and off, and about the future of Star Wars, especially with the Acolyte series, and how everything is moving in motion. However, this is where things begin to get very complex, and how things begin to unravel about what Dave Filoni executed and allowed to go into the Ahsoka show, and where those inspirations basically came from past Star Wars creators and more related to the sequel trilogy movies. Let's get into all of this. Now, with Disney and Lucasfilm still struggling to course correct the Star Wars franchise, however, recently Kathleen Kennedy delivered the following about the Ahsoka Tano series and Dave Filoni. She went on to state the following: "While I was busy with the Acolyte and Leslie Headland and working with her, I figured let me give Dave some pointers on the direction of Ahsoka and where it needed to go. We really wanted this series to be an inspiration from the style and spirit of the sequel trilogy films. I had convinced Dave that we just can't walk away from that. We have to embrace that style. We wanted the series to be a love letter to the sequel trilogy and to borrow pieces from all of it, even some concepts that got rejected. Even Rogue One was an inspiration for this film as well. All of our Lucasfilm properties we wanted to throw into one for the Ahsoka show, and I think that's why fans have noticed some Indiana Jones nods in there too, as well as other films that we have established. I'm sure that that's why fans have also seen different theming in this actual series, which Dave established in the second episode primarily. I'm sure that many have noted our plans of creating multiple galaxies. This was an idea or a concept that we had with Rian Johnson's trilogy that is now finally coming to life. It allows us to break the rules of Star Wars and essentially gives us the free will to do whatever we want in the franchise moving onwards." Now guys, let me stop here quick. Now, I've heard that some people actually like the idea of there being multiple galaxies. I, however, feel the complete opposite. I feel it's basically Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy's way of abandoning what we have established in this one galaxy that, by the way, holds the tales of the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy films. Alright, and it's also, like Kathleen Kennedy says here, it's going to allow them to do whatever they want to do in Star Wars. So I think that you're going to be able to see things unravel where basically it may not feel Star Wars moving onwards. It may not have that feeling anymore. For all we know, these different galaxies do not hold the Force, but they could very well hold something completely different, and that's just going to alter Star Wars altogether. Now, we know that Kathleen Kennedy wanted to do this with Rian Johnson's trilogy. This is why it worries me so much. We talked about the leaks of Rian's trilogy from years ago, and what Rian was preparing for his series of films, and how it was going to focus on the Force being dead or non-existent and not really being a thing. No Jedi, no Force, no Sith, no dark side or light, just something completely different in a new galaxy. And the fact that Kathleen Kennedy is admitting here that the multiple galaxies being introduced into Star Wars and how you can travel there was inspired by Rian Johnson's movies, and how Dave Filoni executed that in Ahsoka, I think is all the more worrisome, to be honest, guys. That's just my take on things, and it's basically, literally like Kathy says, breaking the rules. And she may view it as in a good way, I however view it as in a bad way. That's just how I see things. So moving onwards, alright? She goes on to elaborate further. We couldn't be happier about that, and we will be taking advantage of Ryan's concepts and other creators' concepts that Dave was able to execute perfectly into the storyline. We feel the future is female with Star Wars, and it's a great beginning with Ahsoka and a great continuation with Acolyte, and it's just the start for us with forward thinking. We have to evolve and make new stories. It's our best chance to obtain success with this brand, and that's our aim and has been for a while now. So far, we are more than happy with the response to the series we have been getting from the first 2 episodes. Now guys, as far as I'm concerned, there's a big mixed bag with the Ahsoka series. A lot of fans that I know, a lot of which by the way are casuals, some of which are even hardcores. The biggest complaint that I have seen among casuals is that they don't want to watch Star Wars Rebels to understand these characters, but it's not just that. Even Rebels fans have had their issues with this film. Very similar to my own issues, and that's where I get into exactly what I have problems with the Ahsoka series. I feel that the acting is subpar, there's too many pauses between dialogue moments, the saber wounds are meaningless now, and you know what I also noted? If a female gets stabbed in the abdomen, they survive. If it's a male, they perish. The captain on board in the first episode, Baylan basically Reva'd her. Alright, he literally did the same exact thing that Shin did to Sabine, and he died. Same exact thing applies to Qui-Gon Jinn and other characters out there as well that have gotten the same treatment and perished. So Reva got it twice, alright, by Vader/Anakin. Sabine got it by Shin. It's just becoming a little too deliberate at this point. The other thing that I do want to point out here is that I think that this connects to what Kathy said about how Dave took a lot of elements from the sequel trilogy, is that the map to Thrawn, the map to Skywalker, same exact layout, right? Why does it exist? We don't know. We have no idea. Copy of Vader from Rogue One, another problem that I specifically had. Again, some people could view this as a parallel. It was a little too much of a copy, even the same atmosphere. When Baylan is deflecting the blaster fire and taking out the rebels, it basically literally was a copy and paste of Vader in the hallway scene of taking down those rebels. That's just how I felt. I feel like there's just a little too many copy and paste moments in this series. The other thing is the punk rock music took me out of the overall first episode when they introduced Sabine. I really was not a big fan of that, but that's just how I saw things there. And with Sabine, of course, I feel like she's the less established character that doesn't really resonate well with a lot of fans out there. And the multiple galaxies being inspired from Rian Johnson's trilogy is a big no-no for me. But anyway, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.